Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Monday, the 3rd of July, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Prime Minister Edi Rama held a meeting with the June 25's winning team, thanking the MPs and candidates for their work during the campaign. During his speech, Prime Minister Rama also thanked the Socialist Movement for Integration for the cooperation they had during the past 4 years as allies in government, declaring, "Allow me to thank the partners of the government whose mandate is ending. First of all, I want to thank them for voting for the state building reforms, which will be further strengthened through political courage, determination, and readiness to dialogue with the opposition." The President-elect was also thanked. However, the Prime Minister also commented on his impact to recent campaigns. According to the Prime Minister, Mehta's participation in the campaign damaged the reputation of the new president. Mr. Rama called on his former ally to be a consensual president, not one who induces conflict. "I want to thank the former chairman of the ruling coalition, Ilir Mehta. Of course, not for what he destroyed by blowing away the project of the United Left-Wing Party, but I want to thank him for any positive contribution he gave during our shared work. On your behalf and on behalf of the Socialists who voted for him, I want to publicly call him to reflect as soon as possible and to be the president we voted for, to be consensual, not conflicting, to be the president who stands above the parties, to rise against the other parties. I want to call him to focus on repairing the damage he did during the last 40 days to the figure of the new president," announced the Prime Minister. Rama went on to promise that the new government will rule the country in a coalition with the citizens and that it will cooperate with the opposition mayors around the country. "You should be clear that we will not govern alone, but in coalition with the common people of this country. We will cooperate with them and with the main opposition party, the Democratic Party. I want to reconfirm that the political agreement of May 18 with the Democratic Party will remain a compass for the relations between the government and the opposition." Afterwards, the Prime Minister assigned MPs the responsibility for quality checks on work by state officers. The Prime Minister also appointed the work groups that will hold consultations with citizens regarding the reforms the government should undertake in the coming 4 years. The Democratic Party's chairmanship will gather this evening at 7 p.m. in order to approve the candidates announced for the party's new chairman. Meanwhile, the main candidates for DP chairman, Lulzim Basha and Edward Selami, have started meetings with their supporters. Mr. Selami, who is asking to return to leading the Democratic Party after 22 years, held a meeting with Mr. Basha today and proposed a postponement of the election date. Mr. Selami asked Basha to resign from the post of DP chairman, considering this an instrument to guarantee equality in the race. Mr. Selami declared that the Democratic Party needs a leader who brings hope to the Albanian people. Meanwhile, Mr. Basha held a meeting with some Democrat Party supporters in a bar near the DP headquarters, where he shook hands with Mr. Selami. After meeting with his supporters, Mr. Basha told the media that the organising group had decided about the process. Following the meeting with Lulzim Basha, Mr. Selami had this to say: "This is a race amongst family, a race of visions. July 22 is not a date that gives us enough time to make a campaign. I propose that the elections be held in the first week of September. Mr. Basha told me that this is a competence of the organising group. I think that the postponement would give us more opportunities. Regarding the resignation, I have declared that I would have resigned if I were Basha in order to give a fairer race. But this is his decision," declared Selami, who also commented on the stances of the group that defends the party's statute, saying that the debate for the statute should not keep the process hostage as this damages the Democratic Party. 4 candidates are officially registered for the position of the DP chairman. Aura News has learned that Astrit Patosi, who declared his candidacy on Saturday, will not be part of the race due to failure in completing all necessary documents. Mr. Patosi reacted harshly via his Facebook account, speaking out against Lulzim Basha. According to Patosi, Lulzim Basha chose a farce over an honest race for the Democratic Party. Mr. Patosi thinks that after this, the Democrats have the right to react and not to allow the taking of the position of party chairman without a fair fight. Despite the requests for a postponement of the election date, elections for the Democratic Party chairman will be held on July 22nd. Through a joint statement, two vice chairmen of the Democratic Party, Edi Paloka and Edmund Spaho, cite the party's statute saying that the election date was set according to its contents. The two vice chairmen emphasise that the statute and the other acts guarantee a fair, honest and equal opportunity for everyone who wants to participate in the race for the new DP chairman. Responding to criticism from some MPs, the Vice Chairman declared that the process for the DP Chairman is normal and based on the statute. The Vice Chairman also clarified that only those who are Democratic Party members prior to June 28, 2017 will be eligible to participate in the voting process. The Vice Chairmen say that the Commission for the Organisation and Controlling of Electoral Processes has the authority to prepare and organise elections in the Democratic Party at both the national and territorial level. A drop in temperature was welcomed across the country today, with the maximum decreasing by a noticeable 7 degrees. Meteorologists predict that the thermometer will not go higher than 30 degrees Celsius this week. The maximum temperature will average 28 to 30 degrees, down from the 37 degrees it was a few days ago. Don't get too comfortable though, as meteorologists warn that the decrease is temporary, with maximums set to soar back up by next week. The increase will be gradual, marked by an increase of 3 degrees Celsius over the weekend period. Good news for those of you who have planned to spend your weekend at the coast. Meteorologists say that such hot weather has not been seen since 1961, so these really high temperatures have come back for a visit after many decades. Despite the decrease of temperatures this week, the Institute of Geosciences continues to call on state authorities to be vigilant as possible for fires, as the expected wind may affect the spread of flames. Tirana's mayor calls on citizens to save drinking water and promise to punish those who abuse it. We are in a difficult situation regarding drinking water. The situation has also affected Italy and other Balkan countries. We are not the only ones faced with this problem. Just like these countries, we are applying practices to preserve drinking water and discipline those abusers. Any water we can preserve can be useful. We should radically discipline those who misuse drinking water in order to wash their vehicles or to irrigate the garden, declared the mayor, who also inspected the lake area today, where construction of internal roads has begun. No one has invested in the internal roads since 1960 and 1970. The City Hall's constructions on the internal roads, which connect the area with the most interesting parts of the park, will last for 2 months. The whole park can be visited by the citizens by the end of the summertime, added the mayor. Meanwhile, City Hall will resume its work on planting 50,000 trees in all parks in order to give life to the project of the orbital forest. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.